Good evening, everyone. Very warm welcome. My name is Anita, and I welcome everyone on behalf of Manhattan Meditation Center. We appreciate you choosing to be with us on Thursday evenings. So, welcome is extended to everyone who's joining on Zoom, on Facebook, and on YouTube. So, before we start today's topic, the few important announcements once again. The recording of this talk and any other talks which we have conducted on Thursdays are available on YouTube channel of Manhattan Meditation Center. This series is called Wisdom in Action. So we have a playlist titled Wisdom in Action on YouTube channel, and all the talks are accessible underneath it. Talks are also available on Facebook page of Manhattan Center. Besides this, Manhattan Center also offers live meditation twice a day, power boost from Monday to Friday at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, and good night meditation at 8 p.m. from Monday to Saturday and at 7:30 p.m. on Sundays. This coming Saturday, not coming Saturday, sorry, December 18th, the Saturday, um, we are also offering a workshop. It's titled New Normal Meditation in Movement. The timing for that workshop is 10 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the morning. So if you are interested in learning how to meditate while you're doing all your work, please do make an effort to register for the workshop. Link is available on our website. The links will be posted in chat after some time. All of you have control of your mic. We request that during the lecture, keep your mic on mute so it does not cause any disturbance. But if it is possible, keep your videos on. It's good to see faces rather than black boxes. So today's topic, take your mind for a walk. You know, I'm born and brought up in India. And when I came to this country, I was normal weight. But after I lived here for a while, my lifestyle changed, my eating habits changed, and I was overweight for my height and all. And then it was suggested that I should join gym. I'm like, okay. So I went to gym. And my first impression was everyone who was in the gym, they all looked very fit and healthy. And I'm like, why are they here? They are all fit and healthy. They don't need to lose weight. When I was in India, gym and all was not that concept was not there. And now, at least in last 10 plus years, there are gyms. And so it was kind of very unheard or a new concept for me. And the lifestyle, what we supported in India, in my family, we were all hands on deck. We used to help our mother doing everything as a household chore. Even my brothers, washing clothes or cleaning the house and all. So we didn't have to go to gym. I think we were getting enough physical exercise. So then, after a little while, it just kind of dawned upon me. And it was just like we use a term that realization happening after a little while, like a tube light. So the bulb went on and I'm like, you need to go to gym even to maintain being healthy. It's not like when you want to be healthy, you go to gym, but you go regularly. And this is because the lifestyle is so different. In India, lifestyle was such that all the exercise you will get it during your everyday routine. And it often happens, right? That when health goes a little bit up and down, the doctor, first thing they suggest is, do you go for a walk? And once you start walking, if your blood pressure is little oscillating up and down, you see the benefit that it starts staying normal. Or if you're a borderline case of diabetes, they say, go for a walk. And we see the benefit and then we enhance it, right? We make it a little bit more challenging. We make more changes in our lifestyle. But body is not the only thing where we gain extra weight or we carry things which we are not supposed to. Our mind is also like that. Now, can we take our mind for a walk to stay healthy so we don't carry extra weight, because weight in the mind actually manifests in the body also. So that's what today's topic is about. Very interesting, right? So I'm going to invite Sandhya, Kanthan. All of you are familiar with Sister Sandhya. For anyone who is joining us first time, um, Sister Sandhya is an IT professional, and she is a meditator and a student of spiritual study for a very, very long time, 20 plus years. And she loves making the connection between the spiritual aspect and the practical aspect of life. I take a lot of benefit. She has a, she has played a huge role in my growth in the spiritual path and making me healthy. So, Sister Sandhya, welcome. Very warm welcome, Sandhya ma'am.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So, thank you for the introduction, Anita Ben. As you all know, Anita is one of my close friends. And we happen to be on the spiritual path together. But today, before we go into the topic, let's take a few minutes to first center ourselves. Just relax because you all had a long day. Anyone mic open? Yeah, please mute yourself if you're not speaking. Let's take a few minutes to center ourselves. So, for a few moments, consciously relax the body. Anything going on in your surroundings, just let it be. Don't think, don't focus, don't involve. It's okay. There's a sound, a movement. We focus on the fact that for the next hour, we want to be learning to walk. So become aware of the position of your body. Sit relaxed but alert. Let your head, neck, and spine be aligned, allowing the blood to circulate properly. Slowly start to focus on your breathing. Consciously inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. If there is any tension in any part of the body, then just consciously tense and relax it. Rest your eyes somewhere comfortable in front of you. The idea is nothing around you, not even the body, should pull your attention. Bring all your attention to the here and now. become aware that you are the experiencer of the body, the surroundings, life. Just stay in this thought. I am the inner being. That is the experiencer. Good evening again. So there is a particular reason I chose this topic for today. A few years ago, I know Anita referred to it, but I was diagnosed as diabetic, and I'm not talking about borderline diabetic, really. In the 400s and 500s was when I was diagnosed. That was my blood sugar level. And they put me on medication. And one of the things that helped me the most was walking. I realized that I got here because of inactivity, the sedentary life. I work in IT, I do sessions, I attend sessions, I'm constantly in that same sedentary pose, right? So I realized I had got this on myself by not paying attention. And then I started paying attention. So I would walk every day. And I had this really nice doctor who advised me that before meals, after meals, take 15 minutes walk. And it'll help you regulate your blood sugar. And I've come a long way from there. Very, very long way. So there is a lot of benefit to walking, right? How many of you take a walk regularly? Probably many of you, right? If not all. Yeah. If you don't, maybe you should start. And I'm talking about physical walking because there are a lot of benefits of walking. What do you think happens to your body when you take it for a walk every day? What benefits do you see? Anyone? You can unmute yourself if you want to respond.
Strength.
Sorry?
Strength.
Very good. It helps you gain strength. All parts of your body, right?
Mobility.
Mobility. Very good.
Clears your mind.
Clears your mind. It definitely does. Any other? You will be surprised. When I started walking, I started researching what walking does to the body. Because it definitely helps with blood sugar. I know that. But other than that, your bones get denser with exercise. So, especially women, osteoporosis, you'll put that away. Your heart gets healthier because it beats, right? The oxygen flows. So the heart gets healthier. The joints, they're less stiff. Did you know that your eyesight also may improve with walking? It's a very interesting thing because many times when we sit inside the house, we're looking very, very close to us, right? But when you're walking, especially if you're in the open, you're looking at a far off distance. And they say it helps with your eyesight. It helps with your brain. Definitely helps metabolism. You shed extra weight, you have more energy, you get more oxygen, your lungs become more efficient, you sleep better. And they say you become so healthy that you can actually better fight off infections. I was surprised when I did this research and I was looking at all of this, I was thinking, is this regular walking I'm talking about, or is this some magic potion or something? It's like it seems to affect so many aspects. There is so many benefits to it. When you compare it with the effort, right? It's just a simple low intensity routine, but it works magic on the body. So when you compare the effort to the benefits, I think it's matchless. So if you do it routinely, there is unbelievable benefit in it. So when I was looking at it, I was thinking about the mind, right? Now, anything that applies to the body, there is always an equivalent for the mind. But before we go there, right? Let me ask you a simple thing. Many of you go for a walk. And when you take your body for a walk, what do you do with your mind? Where is it? Where is your mind when you're walking?
I take my mind for the walk too.
Okay, good. You take your mind to the walk. And what do you do with it?
Usually I concentrate and look around the nature, to hear the birds, to look at the trees.
Very good. Very good, Sony. Very impressive. Because most of us, and I also used to do this, most of us, when we go for a walk, I don't know, there's something on chat I'm not able to figure out. It's nice because I'm not really using it as much as at home.
The mind, that is. I'm not really using my mind when I'm on the walk. Like I'm
Right.
using my mind constantly at home.
Okay, good. So you're kind of resting it, which is a good thing. Mostly when we go out for a walk, it's a very automated way, right? Like the legs know what they're doing. Just like when we are breathing, right? We do this breathing exercise before we start because we want to center ourselves. Because many times we are not even aware we are breathing. And many times when we are walking, we are not even aware, especially if you're walking at an even pace and not very fast or running or anything. It doesn't take much attention at all. And we are mostly lost in thought, right? We are outside. We're probably in a beautiful park by the seaside or in the city, but our mind most of the time is elsewhere. We call it autopilot. The mind is on its own. The minute we step out, we have a path for the walk, but the mind tends to go wandering. It is remembering something, someone, it's dwelling on something, it's worrying about something, it's criticizing something, but it's constantly doing the things it's used to doing. It's on its own, and many of us don't pay much attention to it. So I thought it will be nice. One thing is meditation and all that, but even while you're walking, what if I actually get the mind to walk with me, like Sony was saying, right? You'll see that it's amazing how different it will feel when you pay attention and you do it with awareness. And it's a very simple thing. We're not doing a big meditation or anything. But while you're walking, you don't allow your mind to go wherever it wants. You keep your mind focused on what the activity you're doing. And you may think, well, that's not a big deal. It's very simple. Walking mindfully makes a huge difference. And, just like watching the breath, it brings you to a centering place from where you can go elsewhere. It's not meditation itself to focus on breath, right? But it's a starting point. Because what you're doing when you start focusing on your breath, you're removing the focus from everything else around you. You're in the now. You're in the here. And from here, it's possible to take the mind where you want to take it. That's the idea of focusing on breath, isn't it? It's the starting point, because from where you are right now, distracted all over, you can't take the mind where you want it. You have to bring it to a neutral place. And that's what focusing on breath is. So even while walking, it's possible to do that. Call it walking meditation or walking relaxation, but you can bring your mind to pay attention to exactly what you're doing. Do any one of you want to do it now? Do you want to try it? If you're in a place where you can like take 5 or 10 steps, want to do it? Yes, no? It's a very simple thing, right?
Yes.
I think it'll be good because many of us, and it's not walking as if we go to a park and walk. Even when you're walking from one block to the other, from your car to the mall, from your car to the office, we're constantly walking, right? At that time, how do I bring myself to this space, this neutral space? Very simple, right? If you want to experiment with it now, we could just do it for a couple of minutes. Want to do it? So you can.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you can stand up wherever you are. I'm not going to do it. I have to speak into the mic, but each one of you can do it. Just stand up where you are. Make sure you have enough space to move like 5 steps, 5 little steps or 10 little steps. Make sure you're able to hear me. So slowly start to pace around. As you start to walk, notice how the body feels. Heavy or light, stiff or relaxed. Take a few seconds to become aware of your posture and the way you're carrying yourself. Without trying to change the way you're walking, simply observe your gait. How you step forward, one step after another. Just bring your attention to the steps. Look up, tune into what's going on around you. There may be other people, there may be something on the shelves, on the walls that you've not observed in a long time. Some movement, some sights. You don't need to think about any of these things. Just observe that they exist around you. Become familiar with how it feels as you're walking around. Just acknowledge. No need to think, but just notice how it feels as your body moves. Take a minute to just continue to move. How do your hands feel? Your legs? Just get into a rhythm. The idea is to get into a rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Step by step. Step by step. Slowly return back to your seat. What we did here was very simple, right? We didn't do anything. What we did was consciously, we were aware that we are walking. And like I said, This point is like a neutral point. Once you get yourself here, all your attention is just on your walking, the here and now. You're not thinking about what happened during the day, who said what, where, what is nothing. You're just in the present, right? We call it the neutral gear. From here, it's possible to now tune your mind to go anywhere. And you may think it's very simple, but this is a very, very powerful point, a space to be. There is a very well-known story, many of you may have heard about this. They talk about a Zen master. And there was a professor who went to the Zen master and asked him, tell me, explain to me what is peace or what is Zen. So the master says, sit down, let me pour you a cup of tea, right? And he pours him a cup of tea. As he's pouring the tea, the cup becomes full. And when the cup becomes full, the Zen master continues to pour tea. And it's all flowing outside, right? So the professor, after a minute, he's like, he can't stand it anymore. I think it's like me, even I can't stand it. Something is spilling. So he says, why are you pouring the tea into the cup that's already full? Stop. So the Zen master says, I want to point out to you what you're doing. You're asking me to explain to you what peace is, what Zen is, but your mind is already full of preconceptions, prejudices, beliefs, things you know. If your mind is so full, it doesn't matter what I tell you. It'll all overflow. Nothing will stay inside. But if you keep your mind clean and empty, ready and open, then anything anyone tells you, even if there is a little benefit in it, you will get the benefit out of it. So this space of getting to the neutral is like that. It's a space where you're clearing your mind. It is temporary. It will come back, but temporarily you're clearing it so you can actually allow something else to come in. This is the first step always when you want to tune your mind in a certain direction. So you always focus on one simple thing, like your breath. Like I'm the experiencer sitting inside this body. Or just the steps, one after the other, 1, 2, 1, 2. When you do this, all other things are kind of, in the background. The focus is removed. And then I can focus on the mind. This is the first step. Anytime you want to do any kind of, I want to say endeavor, in our language, in Hindi, we say sadhana. When you want to do anything, you have to start at this point where you are empty, clean, ready, open, right? Now, when you are at this point, the question is, how do I take care of my mind? And how do I take it for a walk? Right? And when you went for a walk, you took care of yourself. But how do you take care of your mind? Take it for a walk even when you are not walking, while you're right here at home. We're all sitting on our chairs. How do we take care of it? Or do you take the mind for a walk? Or does the mind take you for a ride? Most of the time, it is the mind that takes us for a ride, right? We don't even realize it. We realize when everything is done, it's like, what happened all day today? I have no idea what I did. We don't even realize when it's happening. So we need to understand how to take care of ourselves before we can take it for a walk. Even your body, right? Before you take it for a walk, you make sure you've fed yourself, right? You must have eaten something. You can't go on an empty stomach. If you have to drink, you drink. You should have rested, right? And if you have any other ailments, you take your medication, and then you're ready. Like, okay, I wear my shoes, I wear my trousers, and then I'm out for a walk. The mind What is the food for the mind? You all know this. You don't need me to answer this, right? Food for the mind is thoughts. What I think is basically what I'm feeding my mind. And it is my choice what quality of food I want to feed the soul. So I have to know what it is I am feeding myself. Don't just think I'm just thinking. Many times you ask them, what are you doing? Many people say, oh, I'm just thinking. Thinking about what? Because it's very important the kind of food you give to the soul. This is the first thing we must know. Second, what is rest? How do you rest your mind? Do you know? Do you know how to rest your mind? Just like your body. What do you do when you want to rest your body? You know, this evening at 5:30 when we were just winding up our work, my husband came in and he said, can I just rest for a few minutes? And then I am ready for whatever needs to be done after that. Rest is basically you let go of all activity that you're doing, right? And you sit down, not wanting to be involved in anything for a few minutes. And then you feel rejuvenated. For the mind, silence is like rest. That means not all the time you're on the phone, you're on the computer, you're listening to some music, constantly there is activity, right? There is a lot of attention nowadays to keeping the mind very, very active. And this is the reason many young people can't fall asleep. Because they're constantly keeping the mind in a high energy. But rest is a space where you don't have to think much, relax. So many of my nephews and others who say, I can't sleep, I give them the old method. You all know this, counting sheep. Yeah, you all know the method of counting sheep. One of my nephews, when I was telling him, just count sheep if you can't sleep, he's like, that is so boring. I said, that's the point of it. You don't want to stimulate your mind. You want it to be bored so it can actually rest. So rest for the mind is silence. So for some time, no gadgets, nothing, leaving all of that aside. Don't have to read anything. Just staying with yourself, relaxing. That is rest. And medicine for the mind. Anyone knows what is medicine for the mind? Medicine is wisdom, knowledge. I'm just wondering if someone's writing on chat, so I'm just looking, but no. Medicine is wisdom, knowledge, not just information, but knowledge. If something like this happens, what do I do? If this thought comes to me, how do I take care of it? This is wisdom. And this is actually medicine. It works magic like medicine does for the body. Why do we need to know all this? Because the way the mind works, right? This is the most important instrument, faculty, energy that has been given to a human being. It's the most powerful in the world. There isn't anything that the mind cannot do. There is a big story about it, but I'm not going to go into it now. If we have time in the end, we'll talk about it. But it's the most powerful thing. But the thing about the mind is, if you know how to use it, it's the most powerful instrument. But if you don't know how to use it, it can destroy you because it will use everything that you have. So the way to work with the mind is, unless the mind has a focus, it starts to rewind into the past. And the habit of self-analysis. I should have done this, I should have gone here, I should have said this. All things that are all done and gone, our thoughts are constantly there. How many of you have done that, right? You've gone back and said, oh, I should not have done that. I should not have said it that way. Maybe I could have done it this way. Even after the session, right? Many times. Maybe that point I could have said it this way. Comes to you, right? If you don't keep the mind in a focus, if you don't keep it busy, it tends to go back to the past. This is standard, either the past or it goes into what others did. And it's an unending queue of if only I had done this, if only this had happened, if only this person has done that. You know what are these? It's the same old walking trails. Have you seen this? People who walk, they tend to walk in the same trails over and over again. Very rarely we change. So the mind also goes into the same set of thought that it has always been thinking. But just think about this, right? Anyone else, if we don't enjoy their company, if we can always say, you know what, I don't want to interact with this person, I want to stay on my own. But me and my mind, this is my world. This is where I spend most of my time, if not all. Right? So if I don't have a healthy, nice relationship with my mind where I know how to take care of it, how to use it, I have a really dysfunctional life. So let's take a minute now, right? We're not going to do anything. We're just going to observe. Don't do anything. You're going to learn, do I know how to look at my own mind? This is the closest thing to me. Where is my mind going? Just notice. What you will see, most of the time, it is the same patterns. For each one of us, the pattern is different, but it is the same pattern for us. Same things that I've been thinking about, same things that have been bothering me. Unless I have made effort to change them, they're exactly the same. Yeah, it is saying something to you right now. If it is saying, and you're hearing, you know, right, that it's not you. If you are hearing your mind, that means your mind is not you. You are two separate entities. The mind speaks and you're hearing. You understand? You're not your mind. But you are the one who hears your mind. So you can work with it. You can make it work with you, but you're not the mind. So then ask yourself a question, a simple question. Am I happy with where my mind is right now? At any moment, you can ask this question. Let's do it now as an exercise. But at any time, you can ask yourself, am I happy with where my mind is right now? If you're connecting to a person, a situation, or a memory, and you don't feel good about it, what is the most sensible thing to do?
Change the course of your mind.
Kusum, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Just stop entertaining it.
Isn't it? There is a simple thing they say when they're teaching meditation, right? If you're walking on a road and there is a pothole, the first time when you go, you didn't know there was a pothole and you fell in it. Okay, you learned that there is a pothole. It's good. Now, the next day when you walk that road, what do? If I am sensible, I will go around the pothole. Am I right? Would it be sensible to go straight in and fall again? It's not. But with our mind, we do that. We constantly fall into the same traps again and again, and we don't realize that. So if I'm remembering someone or something that's making me feel uncomfortable, sad, I need to change the way. I don't want to think about that. I want to think about something else. And it's possible. It's my mind. I have all the rights to do it. No one else in the world has the right, but I have the right to do it, and I have the ability to do it. But many times we don't realize we have that ability. Because the quality of my life depends on who I am remembering, what I am remembering, not always on what's happening around me. Many times, in the midst of the most beautiful circumstances, I can be totally depressed because I am elsewhere. I'm thinking of something else. So, what I remember in terms of person or situation or memory, that's the quality of my life. That's because that's the vibration that is created in my mind. You will see right now, if you remember someone you love, there will be a change on the face, the expression, how you feel about it. Remember something negative, someone who hurt you, immediately the face will change, the expression will change, the experience will change. So whatever our remembrance, that is our experience. And it's our experience that creates our life. That is our life, right? In a 24-hour day, you may not remember all 24 hours. You will remember salient points when something happened and you experienced something, either good or bad. The rest of it is all merged. Nothing is remembered, right? Because our life is nothing but our experiences. So sometimes when I'm not feeling good, I'm feeling down, or I feel unhappy, I should not ask, why am I feeling bad? Why am I feeling unhappy? That's not the right question. The right question to ask myself is, I'm sure one of you can answer.
What am I thinking?
Go on. Elle, you also wanted to say something?
How can I make myself happy?
How can I change it? My thoughts.
Okay, I'm going to redo this because I want you to change the way you're thinking here. Sometimes when I'm not feeling good, I'm not feeling happy, what is the question I should ask myself?
May I answer
What
that
I
question?
Sorry?
I would say it depends what are you remembering and what you put yourself into, what was the experience you re-experience.
Good. Thank you. I was looking for that because what we remember basically decide how we feel, what we experience. So if I say I'm not feeling good, how can I feel good? I'm already accepting that I'm not feeling good. But instead, ask yourself, what am I remembering? How did I get here? How did I get to this space of not being happy? What did I remember? If you ask that, then you realize you have the key. You are the one who remembered that. You are the one who can remember something else. It's as simple as that. But you have to change the way you question yourself. Why am I feeling bad? Why am I unhappy today? No. What am I remembering? What am I connecting to? Because anything you connect to, that vibration automatically brings a feeling in your mind. And that becomes your experience. And every time I go back to the past and remember things that have gone wrong in my life, either someone did something or I did something wrong, whatever. Every time I remember something from my past, which is my shortcoming, my weakness, something went wrong, that is the lowest vibration of the mind. It's like my legs aren't working. I cannot walk. You understand? Every time I go back, it's like I'm hitting myself in the feet and I'm saying, okay, now let's go for a walk. I can't. It hurts. So to go back again and again into the past, remember things that went wrong, and then say, you know what, that's not what I want to think. That becomes the lowest vibration. That means you will have no energy. So as much as possible, the idea is to keep the mind busy. Because, even for the body, I don't know how many of you know this, but these are weird things I learned over the past few years since I became diabetic. If you don't eat food for a day, what do you think happens in the body? Where does it get energy
You
from?
become weak. You
Sorry?
become weak. You become weak.
You become weak, or the body tries to get its energy from somewhere, right? So if you don't give it enough food, it will break your fat cells. Am I right? That's how we lose weight, right? When we don't eat. So it breaks your fat cells, takes the energy and uses it. You don't give food further. Now your fat cells are all broken. You're still not giving food to your body. You know what it does? Where does it get its energy from?
Muscle.
Good. You know what? This is a good thing. None of us have starved. We don't know much about this. But after your fat cells, if you still don't give food to the body, it eats your muscle.
Yep.
If you still don't give it food, it starts eating your tissues and then actually your organs. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just saying the body has to get energy from somewhere. So it eats itself. It has to bring energy from within. Even your mind is like that. That's why I'm telling you this. If you don't give it good food, it will go back to the same past that has happened in your life. It's like it doesn't know what else to think because you're not giving it any food. This is the most important reason to give good food for the mind. If you don't want it to go to the past, you can't sit here and say, oh, you're not supposed to go to the past. I don't want to think about this. Do something so it can think about something else. Give it some good food. I call it keeping yourself busy. Constantly give it food that it has to digest. Read good books. Listen to good things. Whatever you do, give it food so it can think about good things. Second thing, do something good. Because as you do good things, you are creating new memories for yourself. So you don't have to go back to the same old memories that you have stored. You have new memories that you can go to. And create the kind of memories that you would like to keep. Who creates my memories? Who creates my memories?
I do.
Exactly. Who create my memories?
Yeah.
So
And if you don't replace it with a new one, then it's like we fell in the pothole and then we are digging it deeper.
exactly.
Keep going back on the trail is that we are digging it deeper. So
Yeah. So exactly. Create the kind of memories that you like to create, that you like to keep, that you want, because these are the ones you will go back to. Your mind will continuously go back to things that have happened. So create the kind of memories that you can keep, that you will feel good when you go back to. our administrative head until a couple of years ago, Dadi Janki, she was always busy on the inside. So when you ask her, and she can remember things from like 70 years ago, 75 years ago, and she will tell us, this is what happened when I met, this is what they said. And everyone used to ask her, like, Dadi, how do you remember all this? She says, what do you think I do all day? The memories I like, I embellish them, I decorate them, I keep them in the forefront of my mind. The ones I don't want, I leave them. Why go back to things you don't want, right? I let them go. This is the work we need to do. This is what is going for a walk with your mind. Go on a walk, create new memories. Do things that you would like to do, that you would like to remember. Do things that will make your mind healthy. Do things that will make your mind disease-free, strong, happy. These memories, when you create, when you go on a walk, you have all these pathways. We call these trails, right? Do you want to go on that trail that takes you into unhappiness again? Or you want to go on the trail that takes you to happiness? You know, we were in Zion National Park a few weeks ago. And they have this trail. I think it's one of their longest and most difficult trail. I don't know if any one of you have been there. It's called Angel's Landing, the trail. And I thought, at least because it's called Angel's Landing, I should go on that trail. Like that, you want to go on trails that are beautiful, to those memory lanes that you want to remember. And when you remember, you're happy remembering them. These are the trails you want to walk on, not the trails that take you elsewhere into the past, again and again into the same old routine. Things that you have been remembering that made you unhappy and sad and, less energetic. So this is what taking a mind on a walk is. First, center yourself, whether you're doing it seated or when you're doing it on a walk. Either way, center yourself in your breath, in your gait, in your steps, however it is. Get to a routine so you're focusing on the now and here. From there, ask yourself, what do I want to remember now? Where do I want to go? So as your feet are going in a certain direction, also take your mind for a walk where you would love to be, where you would love to have an experience. Go on those trails. Not anywhere that the mind takes you. Don't go on a ride with the mind, but you take it for a walk in the direction you want to walk. Right? So that is what I wanted to share with all of you today in essence. We have a few minutes. If anyone has any questions or you want to comment on something or you want to share something, feel free to do that. Or I can tell you the story in the end, if none of you have anything to share.
Om Shanti, Sister Sandhya. I
Yes.
wanted to share that when you made us do that mindful walking, I felt this perception of time kind of expanding. There was a falling away of hurry, and almost as if I am walking into this bubble of no time. And it's funny because I'm in my kitchen walking around my trash can. So it's not the most, elegant thing, but there's this sense of my surroundings didn't matter. And it's like I'm stepping into that, you said right now, that angel's walk or something. And and I did that deliberately, walking around my trash can.
You know, Prabha, you're making a very good point because, when you talk to people nowadays, they say, oh, time is going so fast. It's actually not time that's going fast. It's our mind that's going very fast. But when you slow down, you can come to a point where actually time doesn't even move, or you feel that time is not moving. You get that extra time to take care of yourself and things because you're not in a hurry. I think you're making a very good point. Thank you for sharing. Angel's Landing, yes. You know, that was the most difficult trail to go on, but I guess it was worth it. Anyone else? Sarah, you wanted to say something? I see in the chat you say bubble of no time. Yeah, timelessness, basically. The bubble of timelessness.
This is Bina here, Om Shanti Didi. I want to say that when I go for a walk sometimes and I consciously tell myself not to think about anything else, I tend to start observing things that I had not observed before. Even though it's the same few blocks that I walk on, and all of a sudden I start noticing things that I had never noticed, even though I had been walking the same path for the last 5 years. And when I do that, I'm like, oh, how come I never noticed it? It had been there all this time. Where was my mind all this time? Or even if it's sometimes a simple thing as instead of walking on the right side of the block, I'll cross the street over and go to the other side. And I'm like, it's a completely different feeling just to be on the other side of the street walking. And it's like, wow, I felt like I went on a separate walk altogether.
Yeah, it's very interesting, right? Sometimes we're so wrapped up in our own head that we don't see anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we have a retreat center called Peace Village. And we go there quite often whenever there are retreats. Nowadays, there are not so many public retreats, but there used to be many. And I used to be part of the facilitating team for many of those retreats. And I would go there. I would go there on Thursday and we come back on Sunday. After a few retreats, right, 2 or 3 of them, I went for this 4th retreat and I'm seeing all these flowers. And I'm like, where were these flowers? And they're saying, well, they've always been there, all the retreats that you came to. But that's the thing. Sometimes we're so wrapped up in our own head, we don't see anything that's around us. But when you relax, when you slow down, when you give everything time, you actually see all the new things that existed for long and we never saw them. Very good point. Thank you, Bina, for sharing.
May I ask a question?
Sure, Lisa.
I would love to know what would be the healthier way to approach your issues or demons. I mean, we had our wrongs or the strengths, but we have weakness. So I understand how not to be our own slaves, not to be aware why put us in the pothole, feel helpless and depressed. But as a human, you want to evolve. So how would you take a stand? You want to be very peaceful to approach the wrongdoing and not to be wrapped up with so negative feelings, felt you cannot pull yourself out. What's your approach? Thank you.
Very good question, Lisa.
Thank you.
One thing, right, in processing, I'll tell you 2 ways, right? One thing is in processing, first and foremost, either in our life or someone else's life, we don't look back at things and say, this was wrong, you shouldn't have done this. We never say that, either to ourselves or others. It's not possible to not tell it to yourself if you say it to others. So on a whole, in general, anything that is in the past, we learn that anything that has happened is good. We don't know why it happened. We don't know what happened and how, but everything that has happened for a reason, and it's a good one. That's the first thing we remember. The second thing, if you want to look at something in your own life, some weakness, something that's bothering you. When I had a problem like this about 10 years ago, I was struggling with myself. And when I approached one of my senior sisters, right, What she told me, you can't directly go in and say, okay, I want to process this and set it all right. Because the minute you go into that space, the energy of whatever has happened, the way I remember it, right? It overwhelms me. I can't process it. Every time I go there, it's the same feelings I will end up with, and I can't process it. The way to do it is first to sit down in a space of peace. We do meditation, right? We remember that we are beings of peace. We are God's children. When you set yourself on this stage, then you can go back and look at some of these things and say, how could I correct it? How do I move forward from here? But if you go directly to those spaces and those energies that we are carrying inside of us, they will overwhelm us. They will not allow us to win. You will go back into the same feelings. If you have cried, if you have been upset, if you're angry, the same feelings come all over. So first set yourself. She would tell me, for half hour, sit in meditation. Become peaceful. Remember that you're God's child and everything has happened for a reason. Then you look at it. Now you have the energy, the ability to open it and see what I can do differently. So that's in essence the process. I can't go into too much detail, but maybe you can learn meditation and see. But this is a very important way. You have your stage should be very, very high for you to be able to go look at other energies that you want to handle without being affected by it.
Thank you very much.
I hope that helps, but that's
Yes,
how we
very
do.
much. Thank you.
Lisa, there are links for the live meditation what Manhattan Center conducts on the Manhattan Center website. Maybe you can join one of the times, or you can even listen to the recordings of the meditation and see if it helps you.
Yes, very much. Yeah, appreciate it.
Sure. Everyone else is okay? Right, we are at the end of our time. Anita Ben, how would you like to move forward from here?
And then how about a few minutes in meditation before we wrap it up? It's always good. It just, again, brings everything in center, right? So
sure, let's do that. So take a few minutes. The idea is to relax. Relax in the sense, don't feel pulled or pushed by anything, but be alert. Rest your eyes where they can focus easily. Let your head, neck, and spine be aligned so energy can freely flow. Just focus on your breath. As you are inhaling, just watch the air fill in your lungs, carry oxygen to every part of your body, energizing it, bringing life to it. This is life-giving air, available to me all the time. While you exhale, allow anything that is distracting, that is peaceless inside of you. Let it go. Inhale again the life-giving air and exhale out anything that makes you restless. Let it go. Inhaling peace, allowing it to move to every part of my body. Let every cell in the body become peaceful with this energy of peace. Visualize every part of your body relaxing and becoming peaceful, becoming light, clean. Allow this to happen a few times. Just peace and light. Any darkness, any disturbance out. I, the being of peace, stay in this experience of absolute peace. I am peace. All right, back to you, Anita.
Thank you so much, Sandhya. This is